And Carney Lansford knows all about coaching and the communication, and that's, what's going to be big. He's an absolute A's legend, and he's joining us once again here on A's Cast Live. And we just had Bobby Crosby, and we talked about how big it's going to be for Mark Kotze that Bobby's now going to be on the staff.
Yeah.
Because Bobby's managed all these guys recently in AAA.
That's a huge.
AA.
That's a huge advantage to have somebody that's already been working with those guys, know what they can do, what they can't do. You know what I mean? So it's great for the A's organization to have him at first base now.
Yeah, because how many times as a hitting coach you'd get a guy fresh, you know nothing about him, you don't know what makes him tick or whatever. Isn't it nice to have like a coach you can say, hey, what makes this guy? What motivates this guy? How do you get him going?
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you have an advantage like that, it'll be nice for him to be able to use that. Because obviously Bobby knows those guys. Like you said, he coached them. He knows what they can do, what they're best at or whatever. So that's a huge advantage.
Now, I heard it yesterday. Of course, we were there. But yesterday I heard it for the first time in just the more casual setting when they go, Oakland A's Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And then the crowd just, erupts last night. And I was thinking to myself, God, that's got to feel good. What does that feel like now? Oakland A's Hall of Fame. You're in there's only 30 teams, right, and you're in one of those teams' Hall of Fame.
Yeah. That's, I'm still shocked, actually. But last year when we had the ceremony, to be included in that mix with those guys that are already in there, the Rudies and Campaneras and all the guys that I watched growing up. And
because that's what's different about you. Yeah, you grew up in the Bay Area. You saw those teams.
I used to go to the Coliseum and watch these guys play. And I actually got a chance to play with Joe, Rudy, and Campy. And so, it was just to be included in that group is just amazing to me. So it's an honor. It's nice. And I'm looking forward to the guys that are going in this coming year.
Yeah, and when you think about it, I mean, you'll be there forever. You'll be always,
exactly.
When you think about that, you'll be there forever, and you should be. The greatness that you were part of, and really being the captain of those tremendous teams. It's definitely special, and that's why I always think for you too, always a little bit special because you are a guy that grew up down in the South Bay, and you grew up a huge A's fan.
Right. So, like you said, it's a huge honor, and really, that's the first thing you think about. What you mentioned there is like it's forever. You're in that Oakland A's Hall of Fame forever. They can't take that. Nobody can take that away from you. So, just to be included in that group and be one of the best all-time A's players, basically, is what they're saying. So to be included in that, it's just amazing to me.
And I think the guy that I believe you and Terry are managing again, right? Together?
Yeah, we are, yeah.
I got to think he's going to be going into, you got to think truly, I mean, when you look at great A's catchers, especially Oakland A's catchers, I mean, he's the best right. Oakland. Yeah, he
is. And I said it, they interviewed me on TV and radio last year when I went in. And I said that I hope Terry gets in here because he deserves it. He handled that pitching staff so well and what he brought offensively as well. We don't do what we did for 4 or 5 years without him.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's 3 straight trips to the World Series. It's so hard to win one.
Yeah.
People just don't like it's like when you start talking about teams that win multiple Super Bowls or multiple NBA titles or multiple World Series. People just don't understand because we're here at a spring training facility. Like it all starts here and it ends in October. People just don't understand how hard it is and what has to happen.
Yeah.
To even get to 3 straight.
Yeah, you got to stay motivated as a team. That's what we were. I mean, we were a motivated team, and Tony La Russa made sure that we were. He stayed on us pretty good. And he actually says it, and I believe it too, that team should have won at least 2 World Series. We should have won more than one. But like you said, we got there 3 times. We won one. That's a really hard thing to do. But that 89 team, and Tony says it, so I believe it. He says that was the best team he'd ever managed. That includes the teams he had in St. Louis too, because he won 2 world championships there. So, that was a pretty darn good team. We had no weaknesses whatsoever on that team. We had great pitching, great offense, and a great bench and a great bullpen.
And you had some really big personalities.
Yes, we did.
And somebody's got to be the guy. Somebody's got to harness. I don't know. You're the one who did it. What was it like being basically the leader of all these big personalities? And some guys were a pain in the you-know-what, let's be honest.
Every team has that.
Yeah, exactly. But somebody's got to be the guy that's got it, because it can't all come from the manager.
Yeah.
It can't all come from the coaches. Like, how did it, you were a veteran guy.
Right.
How did it come about you were the leader, and just what was it like corralling all these guys?
I think leadership, a lot of it is what you do as far as your work habits. I was always out there early every day. I did my soft toss. I just got my work in and was on time. And we expected guys to give their best effort day in and day out. And so I think that's more than anything else. Your work habits as a player is what they see, the other players. And so if they see you putting in time and effort and that you care and you want to win, that's the biggest thing. Is I wanted to win, because I watched the early 70s A's win 3 straight World Series, and I wanted to do that at least once when I got to Oakland. I wanted to help bring that back. So I think guys just understood that we expected to win, and we expected everybody's best effort every day. And if you didn't give that, then somebody was in your ear.
Yeah, the great Shooty Babbitt actually joked around about it a little bit last night, where you had to sacrifice, right? Because obviously as a hitter, there were certain things you may want to do, but you have the greatest base stealer in the history of the game always on first base. So you have to show patience. You have to maybe take pitches you don't want to take. But I think that also reflects why you were a captain. You were willing to do that.
Well, Ricky and I, when I first went to the A's, we didn't really communicate that well. But when he came back to us from the Yankees, we sat down right away and we talked and we said, look, it's a tough enough thing to hit second behind you, because you want to steal bases, and that's what helps the team. So we actually came up with a sign when he's on first base, like he'd pick the edge of his pants. He was going to run, because I didn't want to take a strike if he's not going to run.
Yeah.
But if you're going to go that pitch, give me a sign. Pick the pant, your pant leg or whatever, and I'll take that pitch for you. And I told him, I said, there's some pitchers that I can give 2 strikes to and still feel confident hitting. But there's some pitchers out there where I need 3 swings to have a chance. And he's like, don't worry about it. I'll get it myself. If just tell me who it is. So before games, I'd say, hey, I can give you 2 on this guy, or this guy, I'll give you a strike. Or, sometimes like, hey, I can't give you anything today. I'm battling for my at bat. So once we got that sign down, everything was so much better. Because I didn't know when I first got there. I knew he stole bases, but I didn't know I needed to take a strike or 2. And I'm an aggressive hitter. I'm not.
I want to go hack it.
I'm not a guy that likes to hit 0-2 all the time. So it takes that willingness, though, that you got to have that confidence in yourself that you can hit with 2 strikes.
When you talk about hitting, it doesn't matter if the ball's moving or like golf, the ball's not moving.
Yeah.
The amount of time that you need to put in with your fundamentals, the skill of it, training the hand-eye coordination, training your eyes and everything to be a great hitter, as someone who obviously being a batting champion, hitting over 300, then being a batting coach, just talk about the art of hitting and just the amount of work. If you're going to be a great hitter, and now with the ability to look at all the film and the pictures, just how much work that goes into it.
It takes a lot of time, day in and day out. It's what I call work habits. It's getting to the ballpark early and going down to the cage and getting your soft toss or tee work or whatever it is every single day. I first came up with the Angels in 78. I was 21 years old, and that was a team of veterans: Joe Rudy and Nolan Ryan, Don Baylor, Bobby Grich, and those guys. I mean, those guys. I was the only young guy, so I never really talked to the hitting coach. He didn't really pay attention to me, but I did pretty well. But I didn't know how to hit the ball to right field. If I hit it to right field, it was like an accident. But when I got traded to Boston in 1981, Joe Rudy actually got traded. Next trade after me, he went to Boston too, and we got in spring training, and he says, hey, you got to grab me by the shirt. He said, I want you to come talk to this guy over here. His name was Walt Riniak.
Yeah.
And he was a disciple of Charlie Lau, who was very famous hitting coach. And so Walt from day one just kind of asked me a few questions about my hitting style, this and that, and then he taught me every day in the cage how to stay back and drive the ball the other way. So from that time, that actually I went from 1980 with the Angels, where I think I hit 262 or something like that. Well, the first year with him, working with him day in and day out, I won a batting title, 336. And from then on out, I just stayed with what he taught me every day.
Which is strange, though, in Boston, because you're thinking right-handed. You want to be ripping them off the monster all day long.
You know what? I used to watch teams come in, and I would literally laugh at some of their swings because they're trying to hit the ball of the monster instead of using the whole field like you normally would. They would change how they tried to play, and then a lot of guys were not successful doing that. I just kind of laughed like they don't know. They don't know they need to stay disciplined and try to hit the ball back up the middle or the right field and just pull the ball. When you react on the ball's end, you're supposed to, then you pull that ball. But I see guys being pitched on the outside part of the plate trying to hook the ball over that wall. So we actually used that against them.
Well, that was the first time I ever went to Fenway Park. You step on the field, it looks like it's just right there.
Yeah.
It's just like right there. And you think, I can hit that so easy. It's unbelievable.
You know what? Tom Bergmeyer was a left-handed reliever for us in Boston, and then he came to the A's the year before I did. And he used to have a saying in Boston about, he would say, the wall giveth and the wall taketh away. Because literally, if you drove a ball that would normally be a home run to left center field, it would hit off the top of the wall. So you end up with a double instead of a home run.
Yeah.
And that happened to me. He used to say that. And it happened once or twice to me. I'm like, yeah, you're right. It does. It gives, if you're able to pull the ball, it gives you home runs, but it takes home runs away too.
So for a lot of the young hitters that will end up watching this, like at this time of the year, we get past Christmas, we get past New Year's, you start thinking about your season coming up. Actually, the college season is just about to start. But like at what point for you was it, you be doing some soft toss, work on the tee? What point did you really start, I want to start seeing some live pitching? What was it like for you, and what would you recommend?
After the 80 season, my wife and I, we got traded to Boston. And we moved up to northeastern Oregon. Joe Rudy got us up there. And, the winter there's a lot of snow. So it's not – you have to go to a gym and throw and hit in a gym. So, I think after the season was over, every year you get like a month to heal up and whatever. Just don't even think about baseball. But then after that, then you start getting back into hitting off the tee and soft tossing and stuff like that. So it's pretty much, November, you start doing that again and getting ready for spring training. So,
all right. So this is the year you got to knock Dallas Braden off. Obviously last year was very uncomfortable, having to listen to him for a lot of people. How's your ball club? You and Steiny, how's your club looking this year down at here at Fantasy Camp?
Well, we did the draft this morning, and we felt like we drafted pretty good.
Yeah.
We had some guys from our team last year that did really well. We started off 5-0 last year, and we ended up losing because we hit into a triple play, which you never see in Fantasy Camp, but we actually pulled that off. We hit into a triple play with the bases loaded in the tie game. So, no, we're doing good. We got a couple innings in over there. We're trying to, the first couple days, just really trying to feel guys out, see what they, some guys say, I can pitch, and they can't. And some guys say, I can play first base, but they can't really. So we have to figure that out and make adjustments as we go along. So that's what we're doing today, is just trying to see what we have out there. We know a few guys can do, but a lot of guys we've never seen play before. And some of them are first timers. So, but they're all great people. That's the main thing. We just want them to come here. They're diehard fans for doing this. And we just want to see them come here and have fun.
Yeah, and so many of them, they grew up watching you. They grew up idolizing you. I mean, I'm sure the story times and everything.
Yeah.
If you could just talk about that before you get out of here, just how much fun it is that they just want to hear you talk and be around you because they grew up. And as you said, you in the 70s guys, that's them for you. That's you for them.
Yeah. Well, what we try to do is give them the experience that, things that really go on during the season and during spring training and stuff. I mean, we're always messing with each other as players. And so they get to see us out here doing that, and they have a good time watching that and listening to that stuff. And they're like, hey, you guys think we're just doing this for show? This is what actually goes on during the regular season. So we always give each other a hard time and just have a lot of fun with it. So we give them a little hard time, so they can get to experience that too. But at the same time, we want them to have fun. We want them to enjoy their entire time here. If they want to pitch, then they get to pitch. They're paying for that experience, and whether they're good at it or not. If they want to play certain positions, we want to win because we know they want to win, but we want them to experience what they came here to do. They want to, if they signed up to pitch, or let them pitch. If they signed up to play outfield, let them play outfield, catch, whatever. So we try to work with them at the same time, try to win at the same, let them have fun, but try to win.
Oakland A's Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds
Works.
good. We always appreciate the
Okay.
time.
My pleasure.
Good luck the rest of the camp, and hopefully you'll go win a championship.
Okay, I hear you. That
Take
sounds good
down
to me.
Dallas Braden.
That's right. I'm going to go have some fun with these guys.
No doubt. We
All right.
appreciate it. The great Carney Lansford join us right here on A's Cast Live.